Alrighty, this has been long anticipated. I have done a lot of lunches and dinners in this cooking show, but have I done breakfast? No, and that's my fault. So today is all about breakfast, and this one I am stealing from this restaurant I found called Toast in Copper, Colorado. I was just blown away. I was like, there's no way this is gonna taste good, and it's my favorite dish. So I recreated it, thank you Toast, with some modifications, and I hope you really enjoy it. So what is it, you say? This is a savory quinoa bowl, and I have some thoughts on quinoa before we dig into this. The quinoa is cooking. We're gonna add some eggs. We got some veggies. We got some fun flavors. Of course, some avocado. But what I wanna say first is that quinoa, when people hear it, they think, oh, that's a great source of protein. Well, yes, quinoa for a grain has more protein than most. So for a quarter of a cup, it has 6 grams of protein, which is equivalent to 1 egg, give or take. But I always eat 3 eggs at a time because I need to get over 20 grams of protein every meal I eat, which would require 4 quarter cups, 4 servings, 1 cup of quinoa to equal my eggs. That means for 24 grams of protein, I would eat 1 cup of quinoa. The amount of carbohydrates that would be, are you ready for this, Blake?
Yeah.
130 grams of carbohydrates to get the protein that you would get from quinoa as eggs. That's assuming that it's digested the same, which it's not, because there's different ways that different proteins are absorbed. Plant protein has things called lectins, which doesn't make it as accessible to our body. So just because it says 6 grams doesn't mean you're getting all those 6 grams. And that's why we're gonna combine both of them, because there's a place for both of them. So that was my rant on quinoa, protein, plant protein. Remember, there's always more to the story. So Blake, come on over here, because I wanna show you what we've been working on. I wanted to make sure it was almost ready. The quinoa trick, and this is what I learned from Toast, is to cook it in coconut milk. So I took 1 cup of quinoa, this is kind of rainbow quinoa, and then a full can of full-fat coconut milk. So we're definitely getting our fat in. You could always do lighter coconut milk or like a box of coconut milk if you didn't want to do the full fat, but I eat more fat and I want to be full for more than an hour. So this is our start. So take this base and you're gonna do a cooked quarter cup. So this is 1 cup of quinoa, which is kind of crazy. So an uncooked quarter cup, if I divided this into 4, would be my serving size. So we're just gonna put that in the bowl. Oh, it smells amazing. Cooking quinoa, all you gotta do is make sure you rinse it first. So there's things called saponins in it. You wanna get the kind of like, make sure the water's running clear, rinse it, add water, start it on high, drop it to simmer as soon as it starts to boil, and cover it for about 15 minutes. So that's our base, which looks beautiful and smells really good and delicious and like filling. Like that's what we want with breakfast. And then, of course, I need to combine my proteins because that is not gonna be enough protein. I'm gonna add 2 eggs. So I'm gonna fry 2 eggs. That's my favorite kitchen hack. Have you seen this yet, Blake? Have I gotten to share my egg cut? Are you ready? This is literally the only thing I do well. Woo! One-handed. So the way that I like the eggs for this dish, over medium. So we want to get them almost cooked but slightly runny so that when we combine it and add it all together, we get a little bit of yolk in there. So we're gonna let those sit, and that's pretty much it. We're gonna talk about how else we can make this a very hearty, nutritious meal as the eggs are cooking. And bear with me, guys. I know this sounds crazy, but we're gonna add a little bit of arugula. Arugula is just my go-to. I love arugula. And then we're gonna add sprouts. So this is a combination of broccoli, radish, and clover. Sprouts, I have a video on YouTube specifically about. I used to think that it was like premature and not as nutrient dense as people say, but it is. It is literally all of the enzymes, B vitamins, good stuff that you get in your vegetable as it grows right here. So I'm a huge fan of adding sprouts for some nutrient density without having to eat a ton of vegetables. And then of course avocado. And then last but not least, because we want to make this kind of a savory meal, the coconut milk keeps the sweetness. And then this is just another version of any sort of sauerkraut. So we're looking at something fermented. I prefer this, a probiotic-rich food, more than I like taking a probiotic. A lot of people jump into taking a probiotic and their gut is already inflamed, so lots of bloating, lots of cramping. If you are one of those people, if you take a probiotic and you don't have a gut that has a good home, you're gonna cause more issues. So I start with kombuchas in small doses and sauerkraut and kimchi. Those happen every day in my life, at least once. So get some fermented foods, it's really good for your body. And then, I'm just so proud of my seasoned cast iron. You know, it just took so long to get it to this point. So if you're still working on seasoning your cast iron, I promise you, it'll happen one day. And then once I flip eggs, I just turn it off because this pan obviously will stay hot for a while. And it's just an easy way to make sure that I'm not gonna overcook it. I really hate overcooked eggs. It's my least favorite thing in the world. So that's good for me. And we're gonna put it right on top of the bowl. So 2 eggs, and then add everything that we just talked about. So we got some sprouts, got some arugula, and then a little bit of avocado. If you are looking at ratios of fat, remember this has a lot of coconut milk in it, so we don't need too much avocado. We're gonna be pretty full with just a little bit, but I mean, fuck, who doesn't want avocado in their life, right? And then some color. Let me get a fork. Oh, that's hot and it's good. I'm the only one who eats this, so I feel guilt-free. And voila. And this is the savory coconut bowl. Look at the good quinoa. We got 2 eggs. We got sprouts. We got arugula. Just a really fun new take if you're bored of oatmeal, or if you just want to try something new and hearty. Enjoy.